Over the past 9 months on this channel, we've talked about different businesses that you can be able to start. If you're in employment, what kind of things that you can start if you want to get into a business. But today I want to talk about, should you stay employed or should you get into business? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Let's get those credits rolling. Before I even go on, I know some people are already rushing to the comment section about saying why business is better, why jobs are better. But this is what I want to look at. I want to look at the different advantages and disadvantages of going either route. Now, I want to start with employment. Now, I want to look at the pros and the cons of staying in employment, and then we'll look at the pros and cons of getting into business. And then once we have done that, then you can make your decision on whether or not you need to get into business or whether you need to look for a job and actually make your money that way. The first thing I need to talk about employment is the fact that it is not necessarily a bad thing. Not everyone was meant to go out and actually start a business. It is perfectly okay, and you should be okay at that point. If you feel that you cannot take the risk of starting a business, of watching it grow, then it is perfectly okay to be employed. When you are straight out of school and you're starting to look for a job, the reason you're looking for that job is to make sure that you have an assured income at the end of the day. There are bills that need to be paid. There is money that needs to be put into use in different areas of your life. And the fastest way of getting that particular money is to be in employment, because you know at the end of the month or at the end of every week, you will be getting money that is coming into your pocket, and there is no shame about it. You need to pay rent, you need to eat, you need to pay for transport, you need to buy all these other things that need to be bought, and there is no shame in looking for a job, because looking for a job is perhaps the easiest thing to do. I am really on this case comparing it with starting a business. The second reason why looking for a job is okay is the fact that you may be having a specialized skill. For instance, you may have gone to school to study law, and according to the law, you cannot go straight and start your own practice. You need to be employed before you can ever think of starting your own practice. So in this case, you would never be able to actually start your own practice if you've never worked for someone else. And the truth of the matter is, even if you are thinking of getting into business, it is important for you to learn the discipline of getting to your workplace on a particular set schedule. Having a job is a perfect opportunity for you to learn how to manage your time, because you will be given allocated times for you to work. You will be told to probably come in at 8 and leave at 5, or 9 to 5. And that is a routine that you need to develop, because you will need those skills when and if you decide to start your own business. Another advantage of having a job is exposure. Many people who will work, especially for SMEs, they will get a lot of latitude of experience, because even if you're given a particular role, it will overlap with other departments. And as you're working in your accounting job, for instance, you will be in constant touch with the person who's dealing with human resource. You'll be in touch with the person who's doing sales and marketing. You'll be in touch with the other people who are in operations department. And all this experience for you as a person helps you to grow and open your mind and exposes you to be able to see the different facets of business without having to take the risk of actually starting a business. Another thing in terms of exposure is, you may be working with clients who are on a level that you want to get to in future. And interacting with them under your employer is exposure for you because you know how to act around them. You actually understand the kind of etiquette that is required for those particular interactions when you get into business. And so you're interacting with people that you would normally be looking up to, and because your employer has given you a certain responsibility, you are interacting with them and you're learning from your clients, from your customers, from your suppliers, without having to ever need to go to a business school, because the work that you're doing is exposing you to such. The next advantage of having a job is inter-office communication and learning. When you get into an office, you get to meet people from different backgrounds, and your aim is to make money for that company. Each one of you has to do their role so that you can actually make a difference at the end of the day for your company. And as a person, interacting with other people means that you continue to learn from them, you continue to grow yourself up as a person, and you continue to build your capacity. If you are in a business, the ultimate person to report to would be yourself. And for some people, that would be a huge task because you have no idea how to interact with people, you have no idea how to handle people. So being in a job gives you that training for free. The next advantage is an attractive pay, bonuses, and other benefits. There are employers who pay medical benefits for their employees. Other employees at senior level can get membership to golf clubs, gym memberships, and all such benefits. There are employers who at the end of the year, they give their employees, depending on their performance, a bonus. And all these are advantages of having a job, because even though you have been paid for the 12 months that you have worked in a particular year, a bonus would be a good boost at the end of the year or in the next year, because it shows that your employer is actually appreciating you. The employers who pay for your medical bills, you're covered up to a particular limit for the whole year, and that alleviates all the expenses that you would have paid on your own behalf when your child gets sick or when you or a family member gets sick. And it is important to see all these benefits because the employer is giving you all these things so that you can be able to actually rest and do your work without any stress. There are employees who get car benefits, who get fuel allowance, who get a telephone airtime allowance as you continue work to help you do your work well. On the flip side of employment, it is not all roses and sweet perfume in employment. The truth of the matter is, these days, there is a lot of stiff competition within the workforce. There's a lot of competition and ego loggerheads in the office place. And this is because employers these days are rewarding people based on how much they have done or how well they have done in a particular space. And there are employees who go and cut corners, and this leads to strife in the workplace. And this can be a source of stress, because if you find that your colleague is actually undercutting you or using other inferior means to make sure that they meet their own targets at your peril, such interactions would be a source of stress for so many people. The second disadvantage of having a job is the fact that sometimes your individual effort is rarely seen. Especially for people who work for large corporations, it is very difficult for you to individually be seen and be appreciated. If the person that you're working with in close quarters does not take the time to actually acknowledge the work that you have done, it can be very frustrating because no one is actually looking at you. If you're in an organization with 1,000 people, the chance of you actually being seen and being singled out for the exemplary work that you're doing is smaller compared to a person who works in an organization where there are like 10 people, where if they leave, everyone would actually notice. If they were actually unwell or something was happening in their life, everyone would actually notice. But if in a big organization, the danger is that you can just be a cog in the whole will system, and that can feel like you are being used and not being appreciated. Another disadvantage of having a job is that sometimes decision making takes time. I know of organizations that have already put in place processes to bring change, and all these processes have to go through and through. And so if you have a new idea today, chances are by the time it gets to market, it will probably have morphed into some other thing. It will probably take 3 to 6, sometimes even a year for it to actually see the light of day. There are so many ideas in big organizations which get left at the design floor because of all the processes that have been put in for idea generation. On the other hand, if you are in a business and you had an idea today, 10 minutes from now you could actually be in the market to execute whatever it is that you have actually thought about. And so being in a business would have actually given you the time to go straight to market, to attack, to iterate all the times you need to iterate to make sure that you meet all the things that you need to meet at the market. At the same time, someone who's in employment and their organization is trying to come up with change would probably take a very long time before they even got to the point where they bring something to the market.